everyone. So I am really excited about this. There was a guy walking. I am really excited about this video. Today I'm going to be taking you all around Salt Lake City and all the places that I've lived in the past, like, over 5 years. I moved to Salt Lake City in January 2015. And I made a list, and I've lived in a lot of freaking places. I'll just film a little snippet outside of them. There might be one or two places where I won't even get out of the car because it's just awkward. It is Sunday, March 22nd, and I've decided to film this video today for a few reasons. I was gonna wait until a little bit later, but one, it's a really nice day, and in the next few days it's supposed to rain and possibly snow, but today it's like 50, it's supposed to get up to like 58. I'm also worried that Utah's gonna get put in quarantine. California, and then I know Illinois did it like yesterday. And Utah's a little bit behind on the, oh my god, I shouldn't be filming in my parking lot. I know Utah's a little bit behind on the whole like Corona thing. Anyways, I'm worried we're gonna get put down on quarantine and I'm not gonna be able to film this video later. So that is why I've decided to do it today. Let's go visit all the places I've lived. So we are here at the first place that I lived in Salt Lake City. I know I keep saying January 2015, but I actually believe it was December 31st, 2014. My dad came out to Salt Lake City with me and we rented a car, and I remember they gave us a tiny little Fiat, which we're trying to move. This is not to fit everything, but I also didn't have that much stuff. Yeah, he helped me move in here. I lived here with another girl who, I'm not gonna say like her name, but a very fun fact is before I met Tristan had actually gone on a Tinder date with my roommate, and I remember her coming home and telling me about the date. I didn't learn until like months after Tristan and I started dating that he was that date. This, I mean, it kind of looks like a normal house from the outside, but it is a triplex. So this house was owned by, or I believe it was owned by my transition program. And so in one of the apartments was two staff members. They were married and they lived in one of the apartments with their kid. And then in the front apartment was, I think there were 3 bedrooms, but there were only 2 girls at the time. Like, I'm trying to be like really inconspicuous with this. And then I lived back down there, kind of in the basement apartment, and there were 2 bedrooms and 2 of us, you know. Fun time. Look at the sky. I'm trying to keep the camera as still as possible, but I'm just shaky. Look at this cute little white picket fence. So after I lived here, I lived here. This house right behind me. I'm across the street because I think there are people living in there. This house was also, I believe, owned, by my transition program. And this is also a triplex, so there is a front apartment, a back apartment, and a basement apartment. The basement apartment had a staff member living in it. The back apartment was 2 boys, and the front apartment was 3 girls. That one was my bedroom. That one was the living room, I believe. And I moved here in, I want to say mid-February 2015. I was debating telling you this story or not, but I'm just going to. The girl that I lived with in the last house that I showed you, remember when I said fun times? I was joking. Car. We had a huge fight. I honestly don't remember what it was about. No, I do, but I'm not going to mention it. It was stupid and petty, and she was being a bitch. I was probably also being a bitch. So we could not live together anymore. And I remember them saying, yes, she's in the wrong, and they would make her move here, because this is probably 2 miles away. However, she was having some relations with one of the boys living in the back apartment, and that wasn't allowed. I mean, it happened, but it wasn't technically allowed in the program, so they didn't want to encourage it by having her move here, whatever. So they said, we're really sorry, but you have to move, and I was really upset about it, but I ended up moving here, and it was fine. Yeah, I'll show a picture of the bedroom that was here. And then I moved on to the last stage of my program, and I moved to my next place. These apartments that are right behind me. Let me not show the name of the apartment. So these apartments, I was still in my transition program, but once you got onto the last stage, you were allowed to move out of their buildings and move into your own place. So I found this place. I just wanted to live there for the summer because I was planning on doing something else for the school year. Who knew I'd end up staying? So I subletted this from a girl who ended up moving in with her boyfriend, and so I lived here with one other girl. She was super cool. I really liked her. And so I just lived here for 3 months, and here is a photo of the room I lived in. I actually used most of her furniture. I think just the dresser was mine and the rest was hers, the bed as well. Yeah, I mean, nothing too special to say about these apartments. It was just a few months, but it was a good time. So after I moved out of my last place, I moved here. This is a dorm building from my college. There's kind of like a Plato's Closet type store on the first floor. Surprisingly, I actually didn't shop here that often. And I can actually show you what balconies were mine. You know why? Because this was my first balcony right here. It was a 4-bedroom, 4-person apartment style dorm, and I lived there with 2 other girls who were best friends, and then I was just randomly selected with them, and it was hell. I really hated living with them, guys. I talk about it in my like living with girls video. I'll link that somewhere, about how girls are just really messy. These girls were like disgustingly filthy, but I stuck it out for the entire school year. That was my bedroom. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms to this apartment, and that one was mine, and this one was actually empty, but the door was locked, so we never got in there. And then they lived in those 2 rooms. So at least I had my like own side of the apartment. After I lived in the dorm for that school year, I was looking for a place to live, and I didn't really want to try to find any roommates. I wanted my own kind of space, but also affordable. So I was browsing the local classifieds, and there was this woman who was renting out her basement. It was 2 bedrooms, living room, laundry room, bathroom. The only shared part would be the kitchen upstairs, but I also don't really cook that much. But I'd have my own separate entrance, and it seemed perfect. So I moved into this house. Also, look at these trees out front. They're freaking creepy. And there was an entrance over on that side, down to the basement apartment. I've lived in a lot of basements. What was I saying? I lose my train of thought. So she said she has 2 dogs, 2 Great Danes. She said they'd stay upstairs. They were super well behaved. I was like, yeah, I love dogs. I've only ever hated 2 dogs in my life, and it was the 2 Great Danes who lived in this house. I will insert a clip of them barking. They barked non-stop. They were usually okay when she was home, but if she ever left, they would bark non-stop, so loud. And I told her, and she's like,
oh, there's a spray bottle in the kitchen, just spritz them with water and they'll stop.
So sometimes I did that, and I would spritz them and they'd stop while I was spraying, but then they just start back up. I couldn't live with that anymore. I mean, it was like a nice finished basement, but there were a lot of bugs. But it wasn't like one type of bug and there were just a lot of them. Like, it was constantly a different kind of spider or roach. And so I asked her a few times if she could get an exterminator, and her excuse was,
I don't believe in exterminators. One time I had one come out and it didn't really help.
So I tried to like calmly explain to her that like if it's a bad enough case, you need multiple trips from the exterminator, and she just wouldn't do it. So I ended up getting bottles. I had 1 bottle of vinegar and lavender essential oil and 1 of vinegar and peppermint essential oil, and I would spray them. It worked okay, but then the basement just kind of smelled like vinegar. So I just lived here for 1 summer. I don't think I have any pictures of like the finished room. I think it was just a picture of like the day I moved in. And so I ended up moving somewhere else. I'm back at the same building. That's right, I moved back in here because that last place sucked so bad. I moved back to this dorm, and instead of having this apartment, we had that apartment. Let me walk over there a little bit. So again, it was a 4-person, 4-bedroom apartment, but there were only 3 of us in there, and once again, I had my own side of the apartment. This was the balcony. That was my bedroom. That one was empty, but the door was actually unlocked, and the RA didn't know or maybe didn't care, so we would use that for like other people to sleep in. And then these 2 were their 2 bedrooms. Living with them was better, and I actually already knew them and we got along well. So I lived here for my 2nd year of college, which was technically my junior year. So now I am at the apartments that Tristan and I just moved out of a week ago. Are you guys ready to see them? Da, da, da. That is the building that we got to look at every day. It was in our front yard. This is the building that we lived in. Is this not the most hideous building that you've ever seen? So this building used to just be red brick with like brownish shingles. And then one day they showed up and started spray painting it white. It has this hideous green front door. You can tell that when they were painting, they knew that they were gonna replace the door because they didn't take any caution in not getting the paint on the door. And that was like in October, and it is March. I don't know why they painted it white. If they're trying to make it look like more like chic and modern, it's not working. So we lived here for almost 3 years. This July would have made it 3 years. Everyone in this building is moving so they can renovate, hopefully, all of it. I think that it should just get bulldozed and start over. That was our apartment right down there. That was our living room and kitchen right there. And this was the dining room. And this was our bedroom. And this was the 2nd bedroom. And this is where I park. Oh, the memories. And last, but maybe or maybe not least, this is the place where Tristan and I are living now, and this is probably where we will be living until we move to Chicago. There are approximately 200 apartments in Salt Lake Valley that look like this. Don't come find me. It's cute, right? It's not. So that is all. That's all the places that I have lived in Salt Lake City. This was really fun to go around and see all these spots again. I'm surprised I remembered everywhere I lived. I moved a lot, but I've gotten to meet a lot of people along the way, and each living situation brought their own perks and their own difficulties. So please like this video if you enjoyed coming around with me, and subscribe to my channel. If you have any other video ideas, leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!